Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Friday, October 29th. We're going to be going over some NBA DFS for today. So in this video, I'm going to be going over yesterday's recap, the injuries in play for today's slate, and then cover my 5 picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today's slate. So we're going to get started with the recap from yesterday. Kind of a messy day overall, kind of a lot of last minute pivots and changes and stuff too. So I did post my updated core probably about a half hour beforehand. There's a couple other changes that popped up right before that. So I have a few names here, especially on the DraftKings side, since that was the one that changed around the most. So at the point guard position, I had Aaron Holiday. I had him in before he was even announced starting in the core. He got more ownership because of that, but didn't end up paying off. He played 24 minutes. He only had like 7 points, 4 assists, just didn't do anything else at all in 24 minutes, so he was a mess. Devin Vassell, who I did have early on in the day, he ended up not starting. Lonnie Walker did, so I said you could pivot to Lonnie Walker if you want to do so. Both of them technically ended up as misses, as Devin Vassell had 16.75 points. Lonnie Walker had 21.5 points. So not the greatest day overall there. I did pivot to Josh Jackson from Desmond Bane early on in the morning. That was a mistake, as Desmond Bane had 31.25 points, so he was a hit. Josh Jackson had a pretty lackluster day, only playing 24 minutes, 13.25 points, so he was a mess. We'll get down to the better stuff, though. So Maxi Kleber was in there at one point in time. He ended up not starting yesterday. I said you could pivot off of him if you want to do so, essentially. Me, myself, I kind of did, tilt pivoting last minute because it was kind of announced that he wasn't starting, about 8 minutes before the slate locked. So he ended up with 45 points at $3,200. If you played him, you probably did pretty well yesterday. Pretty simple there. Montrezl Harrell, the chalk play at center yesterday, I believe he was like 68% owned in most tournaments. It was ridiculous, but for the price tag that he was at $5,300, the minutes he was going to be playing, obviously he ended up with 56.25 points, so definitely was worth it. There's not many days that you just get like a free 10x value square on DFS. And then in terms of other guys that had in the core early on yesterday, John Collins, I played him in pretty much every line regardless, even if he wasn't in my updated core towards the end of the day. He was $6,300. We were looking for about 32 points on him. He got to 48, so he was a good hit there as well. So overall, it was a really hit or miss day on the DraftKings side. This is what you get with NBA DFS sometimes. Sometimes you pivot and it's just, you should have stuck with your gut with what you already had. Sometimes you pivot and it pays off. Then on the FanDuel side, Aaron Holiday, $3,800, was looking for 19 points out of him. Got to 13, so he was a miss once again. Same thing I already talked about on the DraftKings side. Bradley Beal, however, $8,700, looking for 44 points out of him. He got to 50.6, so he was a nice little hit there. I went from Joe Ingles because Bogdanovich was in to Tim Hardaway because Kristaps Porzingis was out. There was supposed to be more scoring opportunities there. He shot the ball 8 times. Only made 2 of them, so he was a mess there. Pretty simple. He only ended up with 16.5 points. And then Isaiah Stewart, I liked him a lot yesterday. I said as long as he's playing minutes, as long as he doesn't get in foul trouble, he's going to be worth it. Well, he only ended up playing 18 minutes, so he ended up with 14.1 points, so he was a mess as well. And then we get down to Montrezl Harrell once again. You got 57 points out of him at $5,600. There's not too much else you can say there. But overall, a very interesting slate. A lot of last-minute changes and pivots, and it's... for a slate that I thought wasn't going to be that bad, it ended up being kind of crazy after a while. So it was just one of those days you look at it and it's like going to be a mess. But, the best thing about NBA DFS is you come right back the next day and just do it all over again. And hopefully today it's not quite as crazy. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the injuries and play for today's slate. So we're going to start off with the Orlando Magic and the Toronto Raptors. The same 5 guys are out for Orlando. So Carter Williams, Fultz, Isaac, Moore, and Okeke. So no changes there. Same 2 guys out for the Toronto Raptors and Siakam and Watanabe. So this game is essentially the same as we've seen for the last 2 teams so far this season. For the Charlotte Hornets, PJ Washington unlikely to play. Terry Rozier still listed as questionable. We'll see if he plays. I think he's going to be out once again, but I could be wrong about that. For the Miami Heat, Oladipo is still out. Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo both listed as game time decisions, but both expected to play. For the Pacers, Warren, Jackson, and Brogdon are all out in this game. So Brogdon's obviously the biggest news there. TJ McConnell should be in that starting lineup. Karis LeVert does have a chance to play today, so just keep an eye out on him as well. Kyrie Irving out once again for the Brooklyn Nets. Don't need to talk about that. Already done it a little bit too much as it is already. Nick Claxton listed as game time decision. He did miss the last time out with an illness, but I would expect him to play unless, because it's been a couple days since. Then the Kings are all the way healthy. Zion Williamson still out for the Pelicans. Garrett Temple unlikely to play. Josh Hart's still a game time decision, but I would still not expect him to play. Really doesn't change too much other than Herb Jones not starting. Then we move down to the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, Kristaps Porzingis missed yesterday. Has a chance to play today. We'll see if he's out. I would assume he's out once again. I believe it's a back issue that he's dealing with. Brown missed yesterday as well, so same kind of situation as Porzingis, just not as quite an impactful player. Burke and Bogdanovich both missed yesterday, but both looking like they have a chance to play today. For the Denver Nuggets side, Jamal Murray and Kankar are both out once again, but the big news is looking at Nikola Jokic here. He's a game time decision, questionable play. He banged up his knee a little bit the last time out. We'll see if he's there. If he's not there, it could definitely open up a lot of value for the Denver Nuggets side. However, this is one of the late games on the slate. Hopefully we get the news early on in the slate so it's not just last minute trying to pivot or something like that, but maybe you keep a couple extra players in these late games so you can pivot and do a little bit of a late swap as well. For the Clippers, Preston Morris, Kawhi Leonard, Serge Ibaka, they're all out once again. Johnson, game time decision. We'll see if he plays. Not too concerned about that at this point in time. So pretty similar to last time out. For the Portland Trailblazers, Tony Snell out once again. Powell is listed as a game time decision. I do not expect him to play once again. So pretty similar to the last time out. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, just Okoro out once again. Lakers are without none, Horton Tucker and Ariza. And then we got LeBron James, who's missed the last 2 games, listed as a game time decision. We'll see if he plays. Anthony Davis listed as a game time decision, but expected to play. Wayne Ellington, like game time decision. Supposedly he's been able to play last couple of games, but they haven't played him anyways. And then Rajon Rondo listed as game time decision. We'll see if he plays or not. Quite a few injuries there in those late games. But like I said, hopefully we get some of this news early on in the day. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So at the point guard position, going right back to Devonta Graham, $6,000. You see he's averaging 33.5 points on the season. We're looking for 30 out of him. I am projected for about 32, 33 in this game. Against Sacramento Kings, not the best defensive team in the world by any means. And Devonta Graham, he's just playing very, very well so far this season. Why not keep on playing him? Then shooting guard, this one's a little bit interesting because it's Cody Martin, $3,600. Looking for 18 points out of him, averaging 22.5 points essentially on the season. He's gone over 20 points all but one game so far this year. So 4 out of 5 games. Seems like a pretty good value play on today's slate overall. At small forward, we're going to OG Anunoby. And I believe it's the last time he played, he was one of the pivot options as well. $6,800. Looking for 34 points out of him. He's averaging almost 37 on the year. Got him projected for 37 in this game as well. He's taking a lot of shots. He's very involved in this offense. So why not play him today? Then at power forward, we're going right back to Nick Batum, who we did play on the last slate. Only at $4,000, looking for 20 points out of him. That's what he's averaging on the season. We've seen that 27.5 points out of him the last time out. Got him projected for about 23, 24 points in this game. Should be a pretty solid option overall. Then last but not least, at the center position, we got Jared Allen. $6,200, looking for 31 points out of him. That's exactly what he's averaging on the season. He's actually outperformed this point total that we're looking for out of him 3 out of the 5 games so far this season. I believe one of the games he didn't, he was in foul trouble. But, going against the Lakers, if there's Anthony Davis, if there's DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard, there's going to be times where 2 big guys are out on the court together. I know everybody kind of loves Mobley for the Cavaliers so far this year, but Jared Allen is still a fine player for DFS and a guy that I'm trying to get to today. And with that being said, if you go with these 5 players on the DraftKings side, you have $23,400 remaining, $7,800 per player. So you can definitely spend up for one player and kind of work your way from there. You can definitely spread the wealth with that $7,800. As I always say, just kind of go in, poke around, see what works best for you. And then with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there as well. So on the FanDuel side, we have De'Aaron Fox, $8,000. Looking for 40 points out of him, averaging only about 35 on the season. He's had a very, very rough start to the season. I think this could be a very favorable matchup for him. He could definitely outperform this price tag. And that day that De'Aaron Fox does go off, you want to be there because you're not going to get much cheaper price tags than this for De'Aaron Fox in general. Then at shooting guard, got Jalen Suggs, $4,600, looking for 23 points out of him, averaging just over 21 on the season. He's been playing decent minutes, hasn't been the greatest in terms of performance overall this season. Goes against Toronto, should be kind of back and forth game. It's a game, that I think he could succeed in. I got him projected for about 24 points in this one. A little bit of inconsistency so far to his game, but if he hits his upside, this is a guy that's going to take you over the edge in GPPs as well. Then a guy that I quietly played in a couple of GPPs last night was Dorian Finney-Smith. He actually ended up playing pretty well, honestly, so that was a nice little surprise there, but $4,700, a little bit underpriced. Looking for about 24 points out of him. I got him projected for about 24, 25. He's averaging 25 on the season. A guy that's out there, he plays big minutes. He's not the greatest performer, but on the days when he goes off, he's going to help your lineup overall. Then at the power forward position, I got Aaron Gordon, $5,000. He is going to be majorly boosted if Nikola Jokic is not out there on the court. I would expect him to be pretty chalky in that case, so maybe that in that situation you get away from him. But at the same time, still a very solid contributor to this Denver Nuggets team. Looking for 25 points out of him at $5,000 price tag. I got him projected for 25, 26 points in this game. That number's probably going to go up if Nikola Jokic is out. Since Aaron Gordon has shown the ability to be a primary ball handler, somebody that can get assists and stuff like that on an NBA team. Most of that stuff goes to Nikola Jokic. Most of the offense runs through him at this point in time. So if he's out, Aaron Gordon may play a larger role in their offense overall. And then last but not least, at $9,300, Domantas Sabonis. And there's no Malcolm Brogdon in this game. It's definitely going to help him out right away there. Looking for about 46, 47 points out of him. I got projected for 48 to 50 points in this game. Definitely has the upside for more. We've seen that plenty of times out of Sabonis. So solid play there overall. Definitely one that could pay off and probably one that's going to be pretty popular on today's slate. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players over on the FanDuel side, you have $28,400 left over, $7,100 per player. So I definitely give you a couple of pay-up options here as well, but probably more of a spread the wealth type of thing with this lineup. But you could definitely squeeze probably one star player in there and a couple of value picks as well. But with that being said, these are my picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, October 29th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS or tonight's slate at all, feel free to leave them down in the comments, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL, helping you with your fantasy football teams. And then with that being said, if you are a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. I post up daily NBA DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.